Lies down for a while. Good evening, folks. Monday evening. Been another nice day, although there's black clouds threatening on the horizon. I've got the cooker out. I've got that board out. And the kitchen is returning to what it was. But this is only this evening's job. Earlier in the day, I tidied up and I used the wonderful Lindhouse floor scrubber, which made a cracking job in there. And an even more cracking job in there than the cracking job in here. So this floor is now ready just to put some wax on, to take it back to being nice dark oak, like this bit down here. And that'll make a good job. So I've finally got the masking off, put the ceiling roses back together. So this room's more or less finished. This room's more or less finished. This room's more or less finished. Just that we need a new plasterboard box there. I might even have one. I'll have to have a look tomorrow. I've done the passageway with the Lindhouse as well. It doesn't have lift muck off. You realise how dirty the floor is when you empty the tank of water and it's black. It's just black. So there you go. It's turning back. It's turning back into my house again. It's turning back into where I used to live. I was very happy here, but I've been happier since. Right, that's it. It's gone 5 o'clock, so I'm going home. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Right, folks, well, Tuesday evening. I've got the cooker out and cleaned up. I've taken the end fitting out to get to the pump, which, as you might guess, is seized up. And I've just been down to the workshop for the Allen key and come back with the wrong one. And there's a problem. It's not really Tuesday evening, it's Wednesday morning. I went to see my mum yesterday. I got back, churned up, I slept very badly, and I'm knackered and I'm going home. So I'm going to have to get another Allen key and take that pump off. But here's a little tip for you. If you get your central heating turned on and your upstairs radiators sort of work, but your downstairs radiators don't work, the pump's not running. So that's the first thing to check. No downstairs radiators, check the pump. Right, well, I have just been to my store as well, and I've found that I've got a cooker hood, a stainless steel splashback, and a trunking for the cooker hood, so that's good. I have got my ceramic hob on click and collect, a screw fix, so I might go and pick that up this afternoon. It depends how I feel, but at the moment I'm shattered, so I'm going to go home and have a rest. I'll see you all. I won't see you all tomorrow because tomorrow's Catherine's birthday, and I've promised you I'll take the day off and we'll do something around the town, go for a meal or something. Look at those nettles flying up since it's been raining. See you later, folks. There we are, folks. I've just swapped to the GoPro, as you might be able to tell, to get a full in view of the kitchen so far. I've just oiled that worktop. I've sanded down some of the bad, well, all of the bad places. Unfortunately, that stain has now come back up, so there's nothing we can do with that. It's in the wood. I know what this is caused by. They had an instantaneous water boiler for making tea, and it was there, and of course it went straight through the oil and got into the wood and swelled it up and took tea stains down into it. So that ain't going to come off, but I think he'll live with that. So what else have we done? We're ready to put the cooker in. I've put the new socket on there, taken the cooker unit off, cleaned it all up, cleaned the paint off it. I haven't done that switch yet though. But it's all beginning to look hunky-dory. So tomorrow it's off to York, but Thursday I need a piece of timber under here, joining to that one, just to reinforce that piece. And then I might bring this end in away from the edge of the body, although it's done no harm as it was. It's not overheated or anything. It's never got too hot. He said putting his hand on the freshly oiled worktop. Idiot. Right, they won't clean it up. That's it for now. But doesn't that look well? Let's just go back to the door and have a look. There we are. Doesn't that look well? It's about to become another cooking area. Excellent. Right, see you all Thursday. Bye now. Morning folks. Monday. I am fit and well again, to the extent that I've still got infected sinuses, but I'm on the mend. That's when you eat as much yogurt as I do, and it's this time of the year, you always get problems. Sniff, sniff. Right, what have we here? We have here a seized up central heating pump. So, one of the most common failures of central heating systems, central heating pump fails. Right? Usually, they're just seized up. You come to the end of the winter months, you switch your heating off, and it sits. That pump sits in water, which has got dissolved magnetic solids in it, and it sits all summer. And when you come to turn it back on in winter, it doesn't run. And the results of this is that your upstairs radiators work of a fashion, but your downstairs radiators don't work at all. So, what can be done? Well, don't rush out and buy a new pump, because it's usually not necessary. What can be done is quite simple, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So off we go. So here we are, closer into the beast. Well, the first thing to do is turn off the valves at either side of the pump. Now, sometimes it'll be a gate valve like that. Sometimes it'll just be a square, and sometimes it'll be a screwdriver slot. Now, the first thing you need to do is to find a screwdriver that fits that slot really well. In other words, quite a wide blade that fits the slot. Put it in and turn it. Now, if the slot is across the valve like that one is, it's off. If it's in line with the valve, i.e. pointing up and down the pipe, it's on. So as you can see, both those are off. Next thing to do is, if you're thinking of taking it out, which I'm going to take the lid off, you need to disconnect the cables, but that's no big deal. Live, neutral and earth clearly marked. How do we tell that it's off? To tell that it's off, take this plug out here, right, and you'll see there's a trickle of water comes out of it. When it's turned off, that trickle will stop. So take the plug out, watch the trickle, turn the valves off, make sure it's stopped, job's a good one. Now, the first thing you can do, and you can sometimes get away with this, is to take this plug out and see if the shaft is turning, and if not, you can sometimes get a screwdriver into the end of the shaft, because there's a sort of odd shaped indentation in the end of the shaft, and give it a push and a turn. but don't be tempted to tap it, because what you're trying to turn is made of ceramic and it will break. Right, and then you will need a new pump. So first thing we do is take the plug out and try and turn it. Right, there she is with the plug out, and you can just see the indentation in the shaft. Now I've already had this plug out and tried to turn it, and I haven't had any success. But what you would do is put a screwdriver in like that, and a narrower screwdriver to fit the little slot in the shaft, and try and turn it. So no go there. So the next thing to do is to get an Allen key. That one's too small actually, this is the one I brought on Friday. And take out these 4 screws here, one there, one there, one there, one there, and then you can take the whole top of the pump off. Right, now if you've got a long cable, you can consider leaving it connected, but to be honest it's so simple to disconnect. I would just disconnect it and take the whole pump off. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, I am working here under a kitchen unit in what was a cupboard, so I'm a bit cramped. So I'm going to take the cable off, undo the 4 Allen screws and take the top of the pump off, and when I've got the Allen screws out I'll show you. Well, there you are folks. Usually that impeller that you can see, that motor rotor that you can see there, comes out in this half, but in this instance it's not. But you would have to strip this down anyway and take that part out of here, because all the magnetite sludge that's in the central heating system gets drawn into here, because this is at some time magnetic. So the idea is first that you clear this out, clean it, and then we'll take that off there and we'll do the same with that. That's just a matter of easing it round the edge with a little screwdriver just to get it free. It's not fixed in with anything, it's just on a rubber seal. Now, do you remember what I was saying about the shafts being very delicate and not to punch? You can see now that little slot in the end of there, you can put a screwdriver in and turn. As you can see, it's not a perfect screwdriver slot, but you can get a screwdriver in there and give it a twist just to see if you can free it off. Well, strangely, for the first time ever, this part was actually stuck in the pump down there, and as I levered it out I managed to break the shaft. But all is not lost, because I have other pumps I can nick a shaft out of. So that the next step is to go down to the workshop and find another pump that we can nick the rotor out of. But here's an illustration for you. If I take this into the light, can you see that build up, that lump of crap there, and the build up inside the pump? The second thing you have to do is to check the pump rotor is clear, and check through all these slots in there to make sure they're all clear, because if they're not clear, that's why your pump isn't working properly, and these certainly aren't clear. There's all sorts in there, including that lump of something or other in there. Right, let's go and see if I can find another one. Well folks, what was supposed to be a simple job turned out to be a nightmare. I have had to rebuild another pump to replace that pump. Unfortunately this top will not go onto that bottom because it's a different pump, but the distance between is the same and the nuts will be the same. So what I've got to do now is change that pump. What I was going to go on to say was, if you clean all the components and reassemble it with the rotor in this half, put it back together, you'll find it will work perfectly. What happens is they get full of magnetite sludge, and the motors, being magnetic, pick the sludge up, and it sticks, and when it's left over summer it sets and forms a really good bond and sticks everything together. But if you clean it all out, put it back together, 9 times out of 10 they work. So there you go, how to fix your central heating pump, but not the way I did it, by breaking the bloody shaft. Be careful, the shafts are fragile. They're made out of a ferrite compound, they're not steel, they're made out of a ferrite compound and they break easily. And there we have it, folks. It's gurgling a bit, but it's quiet as a mouse and it's circulating like the clappers, so the devil lifted his tail and farted in my face, as Baldrick would say, or should I say as Blackadder would say, but we managed to turn it round into a success, and it's still only Monday. Next thing to do, I suppose, is put some heat on and see if it circulates it. Well, actually, the next thing I need to do is to get the ladders back from Driffield and climb into the loft and check the header tank and put some leak sealer in the header tank and leak sealer, and make sure that the system is working and it's got no leaks. Success. Thank goodness for that. So folks, end of day 1. We've got the pump done, running again, after some effort. We've got the shelf in for the cooker to sit on. We've got the splashback lined up, and after a great deal of careful measuring, I've measured out the square that needs to be cut out for the ceramic hob, i.e. virtually all the bloody worktop, but what can you do? That's where it goes. I will miss that bare adjust. Yeah, I'll miss it easily. I probably could go a little bit further back with it. Give it a bit more strength on the front. I might put a... No, I don't think I can put a reinforcing piece in there, can I? No. No, it'll have to do as it is. Right, that's it for day 1. Monday, all done. The sawdust on the floor, work's been going on. The pump's working again. I need my ladders to get into the loft to check the header tank and put the leak sealer in it and check that the ball valve's alright. Doing the loft checks. But it's coming back together. Thank goodness. Bye now. Morning folks. Tuesday. I made a bit of a mess. But we have a square hole in the worktop which should be the size to fit the ceramic hob. Let's just hope so. But first, I think a vacuum up is called for. Let's get on with it. And it fits. Now it seems to me that that hole is a little large for the unit, but that's the exact size it says on the box, so that is the size I've made it, and it does fit nicely. So next thing to do is maybe take that out again, fit the splashback and fit the cooker hood, and then put that back in, because it would be easier to fit them without fear of dropping anything or kneeling on there, because it's glass. We don't want any accidents. Right, onward. Right folks, we've cleaned off the back of the splashback. We've drilled the 3 fixing holes. We've abraded the wall to give us some good grab and get rid of any grease, and wiped it down. So we're ready to go for the worktop. Splashback. I've also sanded that lumpy area of the worktop, and it's coming out well, so we can sand this worktop. I shall need to put some reinforcing in here, but that's the next job. Let's get this splashback on. Cool, look at that. Posh, eh? course we have a piece of stainless to go on top of it, but it might not be long enough, but I've got another piece anyway, so we can make something up. There you go. Lovely. Hello folks, it's Monday again, and the observant among you will have noticed that there wasn't a video last week. Well, that's because on Thursday my mother took a turn for the worse and died, and I was with her in York Hospital when she died, and it's quite a shock, as a lot of you will know. But there aren't many people can say at 72, like me, that they've still got their mother alive. So I've been very lucky. This was a girl who was born in 1930, who ran around the streets of London, East End, during the Blitz with her sister picking up lumps of shrapnel, which we still have, and led a very full and very interesting life. She was a shopkeeper for 35 years in Langtoft. She had Malton Gate stores, which later, much later, also became the post office when the other post office closed. There were originally 3 shops in Langtoft. Before we arrived, there was many more, but there you go. Times change. So, Godspeed, mother. And onward. Right, I've got that bit put back in properly. I've taken it away from the edge of the wood burner because I don't think it's safe to have it there. It also gives me access to the stop valve and the thermostat. I've rebuilt this lot. I've rebuilt the pump, as you know. It's all working. So I've moved that off the edge of the bricks, and it's all coming back together. So what I need next is some better edge joiners than these. I mean, I can probably get away with those, but I actually need some double ones. I need a coupler. That's an end. What I need is a joiner, a worktop joiner. That would go on there okay, but I need a joiner for there. I'll have to see what I can rake up tomorrow. Right, well, it's progressing. It's progressing. I am, of course, making a bit of a mess, but you know me. You know me. Never far away from a mess. And what I'm going to do now, given the fact that it's 11 minutes past 4, is I'm going to stop and tidy up. And then I'll start afresh tomorrow, when I hope to turn up with some proper worktop joiners. It's a glorious day. The last 3 or 4 days have been extremely hot. Look at this bloody garden going mad again already. That's rain for you. That's rain for you. Right, onward. Morning folks, Tuesday morning. And the results of last night's tidy up are quite obvious. It's a bit better. So, I popped into good old screw fix this morning and managed to get a worktop joining strip, which will admirably do that job. And I'm going to carry on with that, and I'm also going to see if I can find a longer tube for the Lazy Susan, which goes in that corner. And then we can make something of it. Onward. Evening folks, Tuesday evening. I got a joining strip, I put that aluminium face on there, and I've put it all back together. I've got the cooker in because I'd got the shelf too high, because I'd measured it right, but I hadn't allowed to the thickness of the chipboard shelf, so that was wrong. And I fitted the drawer in the bottom, which now needs a new drawer, wider drawer front on it, but I've got plenty of them. Right, so we are progressing. We are progressing. This side is finished. I've got a longer pole there for the Lazy Susan, which will now go right to the top, so we can sort that. For feeding, there should be another shelf for that Lazy Susan. There only seems to be 2. I'm sure there used to be 3, but never mind. But I've come to another conclusion. I don't know if I've already told you this. I do repeat myself, but I've got to do something here, because there isn't room for a washing machine, and that is not on. I can't deal with that. Can't deal with that. The washing machine was where the dishwasher is, but they've fitted a new sink. They've moved it slightly this way, and there's no longer 600 to get a washing machine in. So that's got to change somehow or other. I don't know quite how it's going to change, because of the sink, the position of the sink. I thought maybe I could turn it round, take that out of there, put it in there, put a bung in there, turn the whole thing round so that the drainer was that side. That may work. That may work. I don't know whether it will or not, but it may. But we need a place. I mean, we don't need a dishwasher, but we do need a place for a washing machine, without any shadow of a doubt. Anyway, I've made a mess again, but we're making progress. It's been a very awkward day today, crawling into there and putting screws in the worktop, but we've got it done. We've got it done. So, see you all tomorrow for Wednesday. Bye now. So folks, Wednesday, 5 o'clock. The oven is back together and in, permanently. I have made and fitted a drawer and drawer front for there, which is now in the car, which is going to Driffield to have some iron-on edging put on it. I've corrected these doors so that they now fit properly, don't catch in the middle, and it's beginning to take shape. But oh God, tedious. I've had a measure up on this sink, and there's no way I can do anything with it. I can't turn it round, it doesn't make any difference. If you turned it round, that bit would come to exactly there. So it looks like some sort of different sink is going to have to be purchased for there. So I'm going to have a look on the internet tonight, and I also need to order a bulb for the cooker, but other than that the cooker's all back together and properly installed and fitting, and fits up to the edge of the doors. The problem is they've scratch built this, right, and they've not stuck strictly to the 600 mil dimensions, and therefore nothing quite fits, so you're having to nip and tuck. For instance, in order to screw the cooker back, I've had to put a packer down there to get a screw into, just to hold the top of the cooker back. That one fits to the edge of the melamine like it should do, but it's working out. It's beginning to come together. I'm very, very, very positive about it. Never mind. So what we're going to do here, I don't bloody know. But tomorrow I'm going to bang that Lazy Susan corner carousel back in, put the doors back on there in one form or another. I'm not quite sure how yet. And then I move on to this side. Oh dear. Oh dear. I've got to get an auto washer in somewhere. And it won't go in there. It won't go in that bit. It has to go there. This is where we had it when we lived here. We had the auto washer in that corner there, but it was always a bit of an add-on and it didn't look right. I want it to look right this time. I'm not sure about this. I think that might go. Ideally, we want a draining board at this side and the sink here in the centre of the window, so that we've got all that room there. But we will see. I've tidied up again. I've made lots and lots and lots and lots of sawdust and shavings and everything to get it all right. But it is beginning to come together into a decent kitchen. Farmhouse style, I keep telling myself. Right folks, see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Well folks, Thursday evening, and I've only been here since 1 o'clock because we had to shoot to Hull this morning for Catherine to have a blood test. So that done, we got back and I got the Lazy Susan in. Modified with an extra piece of tubing cut off in the rapidor, which is held in position by the pin under here. So to take it out, you take the pin out, the tube drops down, you pull the centre tube out and the whole thing comes to pieces, so you can get in there easily. Next thing to do is to cut some pieces of Conti board to fit there, and these foam doors. So I need to space that one off, exactly that thickness of wood, and then put a door on there and a door on there to fill that in. The job's a good one. I'm pleased with that. That was a bastard. I thought it would be, and it happens it wasn't. But I need to take that edge off that drawer. So that will need a new piece of edge tape. I've edge taped that. That's okay. But that's for tomorrow. And I think I can then say that this side of the kitchen is well and truly finished. I'm just going to see if I can get another tray for there, because you could drop the middle tray down a bit and get another tray in, but I doubt it because it's so ancient. But it's actually got a name and a code number on it. Right, and then of course we have to attack this, and I'm thinking the best thing to do is to take this down and move the sink along that way, move the drainer to over here, and that will give us an extra. We might have to move it that much, but that's for tomorrow. Don't try and take on too much at once, otherwise you end up like me. See you all tomorrow folks. Bye now. Good evening folks. It's Friday evening, 5 o'clock just gone. And after a lot of hassle, it's not quite finished yet. I need to put trims on here and round here, but it works. I need to put a stop on there as well, so that hits a stop there. But there it is, it works. A little bit of trim along the top, possibly some brown edging down there, I don't know. Who knows? I'll see how it looks. But that's it for this week. I've had enough. I'm going home because I live there. So thank you all for watching. Thanks for the likes, thanks for the subscriptions. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, please do. It helps me out. And send me some comments, and I'll see you all next week when we do the final frontier. Everything but the kitchen sink. Bye now.